Alrighty. Phone, behave yourself today. Behave yourself today. You understand me, phone? All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Three, two, one. Ladies and gentlemen, what did I tell you? I told you, Trayvon Copeland, bro. I told you we're gonna be doing some interviews. We back with another interview. Just continuing that chain. We're continuing that chain. We're getting the ball rolling. Listen, I told you, Black Comic Renaissance. Excuse me, Black Comic Shop Renaissance, and it's real. It's a real thing. Today is a special guest. We got another guest on, and today we're talking to a good man that I just met. I can't necessarily call him a friend, but we will be friends. Jonathan Norfleet. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, John Norfleet.
John Norfleet. And my brother is from Missouri. Missouri. You know, country people say Missouri. People that's not from Missouri. Missouri say Missouri. Yeah. Fleet. Tell us a little more about yourself, brother. You originally from Missouri?
Yeah. I was born and raised in St. Louis. My family was a transplant. They came from Chicago. Actually, no, I'm sorry. They're Chicagoans that came from Minnesota, and they moved to St. Louis maybe like a couple months before I was born. And I've been here ever since. So yeah.
St. Lunatics, Nelly. It's another man by the name. It's a man by the name of David Kirkman. He did the Static Shock fan film. He from St. Louis too.
Yeah. It was a big deal over here.
Yeah. I know him. I helped advertise that film. Yeah. All righty. That's what's up. Okay. So speaking of comics, what age were you when you got into comics, Fleet?
So it was probably about 7, 6, or probably 7 when I read my first comic book. Actually, yeah, and it was like a random X-Men story. I can't tell you the full details of it. It's been so long ago, but I know that there was like the Brood was on Earth, and they were pretending to be X-Men, or they were inside of X-Men and stuff like that. And then there was like a backup where they explained how Nightcrawler's powers work. You know, how he teleports to another dimension before he comes back somewhere else. So that was probably the first comic I read, and then a little bit after that, I think the first real like full story I read was like the Death of Superman, because that was coming out around the same time or so. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nightcrawler's Azazel and freaking Mystique's son, and when he teleports to the dimension that Azazel made.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up though. Okay. Nah, that's cool. That's cool, man. Like, dude, I remember knowing about comics, but when I actually got to read one, I had read when the Justice League got their butts kicked. They got their butts kicked. They actually died, all of them. And they end up coming back to life somehow, and then beating like whoever they got their butts whooped.
Sounds yeah.
Yeah, and the other one was weird. It was like Wolverine and Spider-Man switch bodies.
Okay, they do that sometimes.
Mm-hmm. It was weird. Spider-Man woke up as Wolverine. He was like, what the hell? and Wolverine woke up as Spider-Man. Like, why am I in high school? Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So who were some of your favorite comic book characters then?
So I mean, I can tell you flat out, like my all-time favorite comic book character is actually Cyclops of the X-Men.
Cyclops. Yes. In the comics he is a lot better, but he did get his butt whooped by Storm. Like let's just be real.
No, you're real. Storm, she didn't have no powers either. Like that's like I respect that. The thing that I think I like most about Cyclops, she was giving them hands. What I like is that, with the X-Men in particular, their stories, they don't really get retconned or stuff like that. Like the actions that they take, it continues on in their storytelling. Cyclops has traditionally done a lot of he's kind of he was a bad husband, the bad father. he walked out on his first wife when he learned the woman that he really loved was back. Like he's done these things. He had that affair with Emma in his head when he came back from being Apocalypse for a while. Like all these things happen, but it remains a part of who he is. You're not seeing someone be like, nah, this didn't happen, or whatever else. Like these things build who he is, and I think that makes him a more rich character. Um, for someone who's always had this kind of responsibility to be the one who stands out, but when he's around all these other characters that have, quite frankly, they have better abilities, they have better powers and all these things, but he still hangs with them. He's got tactical genius. He had that run a while back where he became like this revolutionary guy, and he was for his people. He's down for that, and I feel that. So that's like my number one. But I like a lot of other characters too. I like a lot of leader characters, like Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles from the original run. I thought that was cool.
Right.
Spawn, that's always been my dude. Even though Al Simmons is like, that's a rough man to follow his comics, man. Dude's angry all the time, but
Yeah.
still, it's just a cool concept.
Hmm. I said Ralph too. You said Leo. I said depending on what storyline, Ralph deleted too sometimes.
Yeah, and I think that that's cool. Like especially with those two, it's like either one of them can lead. It's just Leo has the cooler head. That's it though. But Ralph, he got the power, and that I don't know if you saw that CG movie they made.
Yeah,
I don't know, it
TMA.
was like 15 years ago. Yeah, TMNT.
No. You talking about the new one? You talking about the new ones, the one on Netflix?
No. Well, no. I guess it's the one. It's the one where it's kind of like a sequel to. Man, I don't even know. It's kind of like a CG sequel to the original movie or something like that. Like they're fighting Karai. For Raphael, like Leonardo was gone. Like he was getting training or something like that, and
Yeah,
Raphael was out being a
yeah.
vigilante.
Oh, TMNT. And like
Yeah,
Ralph had like his metal
yeah,
suit
yeah.
on.
That suit. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and
him.
and and he gave him them hands on the rooftop, man. Like that was cold. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I like those storylines. Like when Ralph kind of calmed down because if you want to talk about somebody that got some anger issues, Casey Jones has anger issues.
Oh, that man was born angry.
And he was supposed to be like Michael Myers. No, Jason with the man. He was supposed to be like a
Yeah,
Jason type of character, and then they had to go back and rewrite him, kind of make him a little funner. But nah, what?
he was whooping cats with hockey sticks, man.
Ugh, right. Okay. Moving on. Who are some black characters that you got to see and just like kind of attach yourself to? I know you said Ron Simmons, but who are some other black characters?
So I like like I said, one of the earliest stories I read was Death of Superman. So John Henry Irons was a cool one. This dude, because I like the story of John Henry, right, with the train machine and all that. So seeing a character like that was cool, where he built his own armor. He went out there. He's just a man in a suit. He's not like Iron Man, at least not yet. Eventually, he became more like Iron Man, but like back then, he was just hitting cats with hammers, trying to get guns off the street. So I like him a lot. He's a smart brother. Then Static, I thought was cool. I got a couple of the original run from back in the day. The first attempted milestone. Same with Hardware. I like Hardware a lot too. And then I'd say so. I'd say that as a kid, there wasn't, at least when I was coming up. So in the 80s and 90s, you had a few black characters, you had a few prominent black characters, but they weren't really ones that I was like dealing with. Like Luke Cage didn't mean anything to me when I was a kid.
Sweet
Yeah,
Christmas.
yeah. Sweet Christmas, yellow shirt, he had the tiara on. Like that was, for me, that didn't make any sense. It made more sense for my father. And as I got older, it's like, yeah, all right, I feel what they're doing with this character, but as a kid, that doesn't appeal to me. I like Black Panther. I like Black Panther, like in general, but back in the day, I'd be lying if I said that I was reading Black Panther comics, when I was a kid, because like, a bunch of white dudes writing them for years, just
Correct.
doing just kind of weird, whatever, and
Yeah, before they
he and it
let
wasn't
before they let
right.
Pre and then Reggie Hudlin wrote them too.
Yeah, and I think that's when he started being more appealing to me as a character when you had these black voices writing them. Also, I've always liked Storm. Like Storm's cool. Like in the story, she had the mohawk. That's when I first started reading her. She had the mohawk. The cartoon. I thought she was cool. She was kind of like they played up the kind of African goddess thing a little bit too much for my taste. But I think with that cartoon, they boiled everyone down to like one or two key factors of their personality, so that kids could watch it. So that makes sense. But Storm was always cool in the comics, and yeah, I'd say that those are probably the ones growing up that I was kind of attached to the most. But those are also the most prominent ones. So
I hear you. See, funny thing enough, have you ever heard of Tom Floyd?
Tom Floyd.
Hmm. Back here,
Nah.
black man back in the 70s. He had like the John Henry comic that he did, Jumpman or something along those lines. As a black basketball player, was a superhero. Uh,
Okay.
Black Man. That's another comic book character that he drew. He had his own comic company, and he drew. He did everything with all of them, but that was in like the 70s. Like so, it's just like it just seemed. I'm asking that because in the 90s as well, Milestone weren't the only black people doing comics, and so that's actually
Yeah.
a documentary that I'm doing called the Black Comics Renaissance, where I talk about all the different companies that was out in the 90s. You had like Purge, you had like Son of a Hero, you had Hero, Son of a Set, you had um, I can't think about the top of my head. Nubian Forest, we had Nubian Forest, we had
Okay.
Purge, yeah, you had Purge Tribe, you had a lot, Brother Man of Detroit,
Right.
you had a lot, and actually, the media was trying to create propaganda. MNEX, I think it was MNEX. I think that's the name of the company Roosevelt told me about. And like Roosevelt Pitts, I can see some stuff, but Roosevelt Pitts, he created
Okay.
Purge. It was like they had started MNEX, and then the media just started creating this propaganda like that those two companies didn't like each other, and I'm like, bro, they both black, and it's just like um, can't fault Milestone for just having more like people with credentials that work in Marvel and DC to get a deal with DC. Shoot, these like
Yeah.
you can't fault that person for that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not too much on the Milestone side anymore. I support the women definitely, but I don't know. I got mixed feelings. I'm joking. Yeah, but no, like Mnex was around. It was actually a lot of comics around, but nobody knows about them because
Yeah.
it just seems like even in the 50s, like all Negro comics was out before
Right.
before Marvel was around, and Black
Yeah. They
Panther.
had the All Negro comics. I had that. I said, dude, it was like a warrior man,
Lion
and then
Man.
there's a detective dude, and that one I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah. Yeah, Lion Man. Yeah, Lion
Yeah,
Man.
Lion Man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where they got Black Panther from, Lion Man.
Yeah. I remember, so a few years back I did this thing on Facebook for this probably like 2016, 2017. I was doing a rundown every day about a black character in comics made by black creators. So
Right.
that was the thing, because it couldn't just be a black character, because I could put in a bunch of people that make it easy. And it was kind of tough, but I got there. I think my end list, I had like maybe like 45 or so that were worthwhile to talk about, but some of these characters only had one appearance. And like Lion Man, I can't remember that detective's name, but like both of those in that number one issue of All Negro Comics, I featured them as the last day. Um, and yeah, and it's fun, just kind of reading the history and looking at this stuff. I ended up getting to look at a lot of blogs and stuff. Like I found Christopher Priest's blog that he has, and he was, he this man and his stories in the industry are very interesting to read unfiltered. You know, and he doesn't really hold back. He just kind of tells the story like that. Not to derail you, nothing like that. But yeah, like the history of Black comics and Black created characters and all that stuff
Mm.
is really nice. And it's so hard to find information.
Yeah, you got to go dig for it. You got to go
Yeah,
dig for it, for real, man.
yeah.
For real. Like, but
I
hey,
know there's
man,
yeah. I'll go ahead.
no, man.
Well, I know like there's this comic book database. It's literally just about Black characters. And it's not just it's not just Marvel and DC. It's anything independent, anything that gets submitted. This person will add to this list, and that was helpful for a lot of stuff too. So,
What's that? Where's that at? Can you send that to me?
uh, yeah, I'll send you a link to that because I don't know off the top of my head. I haven't been there in a couple of years, but I'll find that out for you and I'll send it to you after the interview.
Like somebody sent me, I can't find that post, but I want to say in 2018, 2019, one of them, like I was kind of doing what you was doing, while I was posting a bunch of different. I'll write like a mini article about like different Black comic book characters, and then I started doing anime, and then I started doing video games. Um, where I just like talked about a bunch of different like Black characters because
Mm.
people think that there are not a lot of Black video game characters. I'm like, oh no, there are a lot of Black video game
There's
characters,
tons of them. Yeah,
and it all depends on the game you playing. They like when it comes to games like Mortal Kombat, Killer Instinct, Bloody Roar, freaking like away from Street Fighter and Tekken. Like there are Black characters in all these games. There's even old
yeah,
fight games like that don't get like King of Fighter that's not as
right.
big as fighters, and like Bloody Roar, Dead or Alive. Like some of those games like not as big as Street Fighters and Mortal Kombat and Tekken, and like there's always been Black characters.
Yeah,
There's
especially KOF. Yeah,
yeah. Like you can't forget Streets of Rage if you want to talk about like fighters. It's a lot of games. It's a lot of games where the Black characters are important. So yeah, man, it's just it's not necessarily marketed that way, and so you got to go dig for it.
yeah,
If you didn't play Watch Dogs 2, you don't know that Marcus, Black dude, the main character in that game. You didn't play Mafia 3, you didn't know that Lincoln Clay was the main character in that game. It's like, and so on and so forth. They just so GTA, Carl Johnson, and Grand Theft Auto 5. I'll forget that dude's name, but
Oh, Franklin.
Franklin. There we go, Franklin. Yeah,
Yeah,
Franklin. Yeah, but just like if you mainstream, like you got Black characters everywhere, Metal Gear Solid, etc., etc., etc. But so anyway, let's get to the spicy questions. The bonus round. That's what we're here for,
okay.
people. What we're here for. What inspired you to want to own your own comic book shop?
So, it's an interesting story. Years back, I want to say 2008, I started officially working in the comic book industry. I had retail in another store. Was part timer, got promoted, became like eventually became an assistant manager, 9 months and all that. Got to learn the industry. That store was a Star Clipper in St. Louis, and I got to learn a lot of stuff about it, and I got to learn about the ins and out of the industry from the retailer side. And I thought that was interesting, seeing getting kind of a view of how the companies look at their customers, their patrons, and how they look at the retailers ourselves and all that kind of stuff. And and obviously I like reading comics, and that gave me access to that kind of thing. So as time went on, eventually the store I was working at, they closed, and they were purchased, and some other stuff happened like that. But I went from there, never really being able to move up from my assistant manager position, and was offered a comics manager position at the Wizards Wagon. And so I took that, and I was like, well, I can cater this store in this area to be kind of more like the store that I wanted to be, because that store
Mhm,
wasn't carrying comics before. It was just a game store, like board games and cards and stuff like that.
mhm,
And so through that, I got a chance to curate our selection to be more in line with what I want to sell to our community. And eventually the owner, he was having some financial trouble, and he was trying to get out the game. And so I was like, well, this is a perfect opportunity to really control everything about it. So I talked to my fellow store manager, and we talked to our family about it, and through that, five of us, my brother, my partner's his brother, he and then the previous owner of the store before it's this store has a history. Anyway, we all went in, we bought the stock, we bought the inventory, we bought everything, and cleared out the debt that this guy had and made it our own. So that was in 2018, and that was really just, if I'm going to be in the industry, I may as well be, at that rung. Like if I'm going to be selling these comics, let me really sell these comics. Let it mean something that, my livelihood has to be on it.
Right.
Because it's all I talk about anyway, right? It's all I talk about is comics. So may as well, like, if it's already my job, well, it should be my career. And that's kind of what it is. So
Right. Right on. Right on. That's
yeah.
awesome. That is freaking awesome, dude. Nah, that's it was always a goal of mine to not to make too much about myself, but it was always a goal of mine to have my own comic shop, and just how I would do it with my company, Respect My Nerds. It's just when I decide to make a comic, I would display it to like my fan base, and like the people who come in my comic shop first, get to see how they like it, and if it jump, then I would start making online sales, and then I don't know, like Terry Gant from Chicago, he was saying like he would recommend people do a graphic novel. So therefore, like it's a better investment, because you just you get way more content out of doing a graphic novel than to just do issues 1, 2, 3, like like bro,
Sure.
like, because from a financial standpoint and point of interest standpoint, somebody might like issue 1, and then by the time issue 5 come out, like it all depends on production, how long that's gonna take to fund, what
Yeah,
type of
you're right.
having. So like when I look at some of these fan bases, man, and they doing Kickstarters every 33 months, and like they treat it like a business, but they actually giving their fans what they're paying for. I respect those people. Like, I don't like them people that be milking their fan base and then don't even give them nothing. I'm like, bro, that's foul.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Have you thought about doing your own comic?
So when I was at the other store, there was a group of customers who they would meet up and they would talk about stuff, and they would include us, the staff at the store they shopped at. And eventually they formed this group. It's called Ink and Drink Comics, and based out of St. Louis, and through that we decided to start making anthologies. And so it's all amateur work and all that stuff like that. So I've done a few things. I've written a few stories. I've drawn a few stories. And I did it for a few years. It's usually like 4 to 8 pages, whatever. I think eventually it became 10 pages, something like that. Just exercises. And each book would be a different genre. So the first book was a horror anthology. The next one was sci-fi. Then it was fantasy, and superheroes, romance. Romance was actually the most fun I had doing. Um, romance, pirates, war, and then true life, and then we had an anniversary issue and all that stuff like that. And it's still going today. I don't contribute to that anymore because I don't really have the time for it. But I got a few things that are locally published, and I've kind of helped other people do things, here or there on the local scene. And I think that ultimately, I have a story I've been working on for a few years. Uh, when I do have time to hopefully make something of it, like it is a comic. Um, it's about space and kind of this retro '70s style space knight anime kind of stuff, like Tekkaman and
Yeah, like Cowboy Bebop. Are we going Cowboy Bebop?
no, a little further back, a little less hip, really more
Outlaw
really,
Star, maybe.
no, a little think like what's a good equivalent? Uh, you know, you know, um, the Valiant book XO.
Yeah,
So kind of like that, but just kind of this it has this kind of retro feel to it. Like the character is designed to be really simple, kind of a Power Ranger looking guy. He has like big
Okay.
gloves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he got lost, but he got this device that lets him access the power of our solar system sun, or of our star, but he's not in our solar system. He's somewhere else, lost in time and space. And so that's something I've been working on for a while, and hopefully I hope to finish that in some incarnation within the next few years, to at least have something that's just me, that's published out. I don't really care if it makes money or not. It's just nice to have it.
All right. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good.
All right, cool. Now that sounds awesome, man. That sounds freaking awesome. But if you ever need somebody to help you write, I'm the guy. But I also help I also help people. Blah, blah, blah. I'm losing my words. I can't talk anymore. What's going on?
It's power of the sun, man.
I know, right? Hang on. What's happening here? What's
What's up?
happening? No, because the recording things malfunction. Hang on, because I had a few more questions before we just wrapped it up. I didn't want to keep it too long. What the hell is going on here? Hang on. Is it still recording?
It looks like it says starting recording.
Yeah, I know. I don't like that. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Hang on. I'm gonna hang up and call you back, or hang up.
Okay.
Count 5 seconds and then call me back.
Okay.